There it is.
There we go. Welcome, everybody. Glad you're here. Glad for all of you who hear this or play this after the fact. You're also welcome. Um, I keep getting questions each week. Yeah, when we put the recordings out there, if you play them and you find they're useful to you, please do. Post them other places. Let other people pull them up too. That's how a lot of this gets spread, and that's a good thing. Our group from up Pine Ridge are here. And there's 33 people. And
Wow.
18 of our youth council, which I believe is the whole youth council. So, welcome to you guys. The 18 are part of the 33, by the way. Tom immediately said, yeah, 8, okay, got it, Tom. 33 total, but that's still a bunch. The grandmothers said they were going to try to be here. So far, whoops, talk on it. So far, they've not appeared, but they probably will. Okay. Um, sorry, I'm still letting people in. And okay, the youth council, their connection's good now. So they are hearing us. Welcome, Chris, Marcy, everybody. Who wants to do opening prayer? I was hoping our sister would be here, but I don't see her yet. Anybody motivated? Okay, I'll do it. Wankatanka Tecumseh. Great Spirit, Great Mystery, God, Universe. Thank you. Thank you for this time. Thank you for this space. Thank you for all you're giving us right now. Thank you for your patience and allowing us to come forward in the best way we can and stand together and make the changes that we know are needed. Thank you for the healing you've given us and those around us. Thank you for those in this podcast group who are showing up quite often. That's a beautiful thing, and it leads to some continuity. And a special thank you to making the space so this youth council create itself in and amongst the group up in Pine Ridge. They're a special group, and they will be co-hosting with us tonight. So please guide them as we go along. Ancestors of the East, the springtime. The South, the summertime. The time of heat, building, procreation. The West, the time of teachers, when those of us who don't have such strong backs anymore sit in our stools or go out and take a walk and teach what we've learned. And the ancestors in the North, the place of the old ones, a place of black elk, white buffalo, calf woman, Jesus, Allah, all those ancestors, including our own. The place now of our brother Standing Bear, Wayne, who's up there and guiding from there. Thank you for all you give us. Please continue to work with us. We are in the critical times. Almost every conversation, every circle I enter into right now starts out that way. We're on the knife's edge, and we need the support and the knowledge and the ability to blend knowledge into wisdom to move forward in a good way. Om Mitakuye. And finally, Father Sky and Mother Earth, my strongest, longest connection on this walk, thank you for being with us, and especially thank you for your patience. We humans are not the fastest learners in the deck. We definitely are not. We have to repeat things over and over and over again. I wish we would watch our animal relatives more often, because they tend to do something and learn and don't repeat mistakes. That doesn't accrue to us, but we are learning. We are advancing. There is more and more of us. And so let's send love and light and healing to everybody as we do this again tonight, regardless of who they are or what they are. Everyone who's here right now is here for a purpose, a real purpose. This is that time of change that some of us have been taught about for 40 years or more. And so blessings and thanks to all of them, because they all have a purpose and a reason. Even if we don't see it right now, even if we strongly disagree with it. And let's keep going in the best possible way as family. Mitakuye, all my relations. Okay, Valerie, you and Melissa, I think, kind of sculpted this one, so I'm going to turn it to you to explain what we're going to dig into tonight.
All right. So we were chatting about on our previous podcast how the information just isn't getting out there. Even like the wildfires, you would think would be right on top the front page, but not circulating. So I thought what we'd do is just sort of share a little bit of what's happening in your neck of the woods and really from a point of view of Mother Earth and how things are going there. It could be a positive, doesn't all have to be negative, but just a little bit of sharing. So also I know that Jim has been sharing on Facebook and social media about protect the sacred. I want to hear a little bit more about that as well. So let's start there, if you don't mind, Jim, if you're okay. Um, I don't know if you're at a point where you can talk or not.
I never know if I'm okay, but I can talk.
So
Um,
we were talking about
yeah.
protect the sacred. Can you unpack that a little bit for us?
And I will more and more. I've been getting a lot of dreams around that. Not that I haven't had some before, but now it's protect the sacred. And for a long time, a lot of years, I've stood up as we protected various sacred sites. I guess the most recent big one is Standing Rock, but others that are going on as well. Um, but I realize right now with everything going on, the sacred is everything. Sacred is not just sites. It's the animals around it, it's the standing people, it's us, we two-leggeds. Each pocket of that is part of the sacred. And we need to stand and protect all that now and make it one so we can start protecting it all together. I was getting some dreams in the last few nights. Getting a ton of dreams. I'll be curious if anyone else is. Whoops. Oh, there comes some of the youth council. Oh yeah, dreams. Let's go there. We've been having a lot of dreams. Okay. Yeah, I've been getting a lot of dreams and going back, shifting back into the sacred places I've been, I've worked. I've done my best to help. And then suddenly I'll be somewhere now, and it doesn't look like it's anything special, but it is. It might be a small town with a group of people standing outside. And as that's going on, I got a message this morning, middle of the night, I guess. We have some people. I'm in Sedona, Arizona. Well, I'm near it. I'm about 30 minutes, I guess, away from Sedona Central. Um, and when I tried to leave this area to go to Europe a couple years ago, about 3 years ago now, I was clearly told to no, get back on the desert. We need you. You need to be a desert rat longer. And I literally turned around and drove back. And others are doing that. And so there's people coming now to this area. Some have lived here before, but not for a long time. And they're literally picking up and returning. Others just heard the message and they're coming here. They don't know why. Met a new friend through Estelle yesterday, and he talked about someone who came, connected, and then went on his way. There's some of that going on. So we have a gathering coming up here in about a week and a half. Yeah, of some folks who want to protect the sacred, who want to come into the community. Their goals for this look very similar to what I've worked on for years and years, and what my nonprofit does. So these things are starting to come together. The sacred sites are still special, but the sacred sites by themselves don't mean too much. The sacred sites with those beings who are in them, around them, working with them, that's when they mean something. So that's what that was about. Definitely going to do more. And some have asked me, and I'm going to probably do probably a Zoom, maybe more than one, and just invite people to come and we'll talk about it. just open forum, and let's see what we create. Because boy, it's some of us wondered if we were going to make it to this point where we are now. Um, my teachers always told me I would, but I was starting to doubt it. Well, here we are, and we're here for a reason too. We white hairs. We're here to share what we know, especially our mistakes, and help us move forward, and then we can step off of center stage. So I think that's where I was, and okay. I am probably going to take more of our council's messages tonight, which suddenly, hello, okay, they're typing them in, since they're co-hosts, but I'll do my best to get, as I always do, to get everyone in. I think that's my primary job here, I really do. Just trying to play with the strings so we all get a chance to talk. And this is a dialogue, not a monologue. If it feels like a monologue at any moment, please speak up and we'll shift it. Because that's not what this was meant to be. This is a community gathering. Okay, so the young people were talking about the dreams. And many of them are having many more dreams than usual. They heard Valerie. This doesn't mean it's negative or bad or evil. I don't buy those terms, by the way, but that's okay. Just dreams. Who wants to speak to what they mean or why? Why are they all coming now? Good questions. Some of them are actually dreaming of their ancestors from their own lineage. That's interesting too. Okay, so we'll put that there, but before we get to that, I see Camellia had her hand up, so why don't we go there and see what she was responding to.
Okay.
Here we go.
Oh, I have words for you that are the very thing you've been speaking in. Valerie, what I do for my part, besides the local, the people I touch on a day-to-day basis, I write books, I do music, I send it out, try to reach as many people, and every single thing I do is these kinds of things. So I'm going to see if I can copy paste it in the chat and just read it from there. Um, this Celtic vibe, I was in a Welsh group online with some Welsh people studying Celtic. Yeah, I study them all, including the Muslim people. I work with the Muslim people too, all of them. And all of my music is all of those vibes, all of those different things, because this is the core of what you're saying, Jim. In the old ways, we were one, which you just said: earth, sky, air, water, and fire, plants, animals, and humans. Born of mother and father, but also of earth, elements, and spirit. Understanding the soul, energy connects all beings of life. Related to the land, it is our responsibility to change the culture from damaging our world to understanding, protecting, and respecting. Remembering history and heritage, allowing our roots to sink deep into the land, guided by, again, like you said, ancestry and spirit. Learning reciprocity is a balance of beauty and strength. Receiving is just as important as the giving, and the growing and the knowing, which is the young folks that you're bringing in. And this is a Celtic vibe, which is purveyor of the old ways, but it's true for all. For all. I thought that'd be a good start point for you today.
Excellent. Thank
Excellent.
you. Yes. I had to jump in there and say thank you, Camilla.
Okay, yeah, no, that's a great way to start it. Excellent way to start it off. I totally agree with everything you're saying. Phew, comes Jerry. Welcome, Mel. I saw you sneak in on the side there. Welcome to everybody new who comes in. We'll stop individualizing it because I think others are on the way. Yeah, and I think it has something to do with the dreams as well. I know some of the ancestors I've been dreaming about are not ones that I've had a strong connection to in the past. My DNA is Romany, Gypsy, and Native American, and then little dibs and dabs of other things, including Celtic. And suddenly I'm dreaming a lot more on the Romney folks, and I'm not quite sure why, but it's almost like I'm being given some more stories that I haven't had yet from my own teachers and my own elders, from my own lineage. Because, yeah, putting them back together. And boy, thank you for mentioning that. Yes, that's what all the prophecies that I've come across tell us. We were one. What that looked like, why we shifted so much, I don't know. We know why we've been controlled for the last X number of generations, and we know we have to break those chains, and we are. We are big time. Even we have challenges to face. And some of us right here in this tonight are facing challenges now, and will continue to. But we can face them now as a collective, a community. My chief used to always use the arrow analogy. Each one of us is an arrow in the sheath. But if you take an arrow, you break it. But if we take our arrows together and take out all the arrows and hold them there, you can't break it. It doesn't. It might bend a little, but you can't break it. And that's what I think we're seeing right now. The truth's coming forth, and in different ways. We're not all accessing it in the same ways, which can be interesting at times, but it is coming forth. Even from those who have recently left us, they're really showing up. And I'm talking to others who are talking to them, and they're getting them too. I had Chief Golden Light Eagle show up the other night. Chief and I were good friends and lodge mates. We shared my lodge in Colorado. And boy, suddenly he's just showing up. It's like, remember what we used to joke about in the lodge? It's not a joke anymore. Make sure you keep doing the work. And I'm like, okay, Chief, all right. So, yeah, let's keep it up. Anyone else want to dibble in on the young people we're talking about now? Do you get your stories in dreams, or do you get your stories from elders, or maybe do you get your stories from both places? That's another good question. I like that. I won't answer it. I have my answer, but maybe some of you have an answer there. Okay, they're writing again, but I think we're caught up on that. So this connection between all of us and between the generations has been really critical. I've always worked with a lot of young people and I've worked with all the ages. Not intentionally, it just worked out that way. So everything from the young ones, the real young ones, up to the Alzheimer's ones. And I've always welcomed that because, boy, I've learned so much. And I saw all the things that I could do better, which improved a lot of what I do. Anybody want the talking stick? This is free form tonight. Or if you have questions of the council, we can go that way too. We can shift it both ways.
I just wanted to
Go.
say Camilla's sharing was just so powerful, and it you modeled so well what we need to do during this time. That perfect meshing of ancestry, along with putting aside our differences, and then even how you incorporate music, how important that is at this time as we're building that frequency, and that's what unites our hearts together, as that playing the music, the frequencies, the words, the poetry, all of that we need very much at this time. And we used to think about kind of like what Jim was saying about lodge, that it was a nice thing to do, but now it's like our lifeline. These things are our lifeline. The poetry, the music, the drumming, the sharing, the connecting. It's, I know, at least for me, it's been very important. This podcast, even it just brings me joy. I'm sure it does for you too, to hear from the youth and also from the grandmothers. I'm kind of sad they didn't make it tonight, but maybe they might just still pop in. I can feel them, even though I can't see them. And it just blesses my heart. So, talking stick in the middle.
And as you said, well, just before you said that, the grandmothers are now here. There's 7 of them. They were having trouble getting here. A lot of fires in their area too. I wonder if there's anybody here who does not have fires around them. I'll bet it's not many. No matter where you are, what part of the world, they're just burning everywhere. Yeah, I mean it's amazing. Talking to a friend in Alaska, and then she tagged me and said, "Oh no, they're here too." Okay. Um, okay, good. So the grandmothers are saying hello. Grandmother Val is here leading them. There's 7 of them. They've been deciding that they would start coming on the show occasionally. I really, really support that. I know all you do, especially all of us who have done what we can to help this thing grow. It would be great to see anybody. And if anybody needs help for capacity to do that, please ask. We'll see what we can do. Everyone's welcome. I don't care how you come in. I don't care if it's phone or internet or those who play them afterwards. There are some people who, it's okay. They're just not comfortable yet. And they tell me, but oh, please make sure you always put up the recordings because we really want to hear them. We're just not ready to sit there yet. It's perfectly okay. Perfectly. I remember when I was younger going through that stage, feeling like I don't belong in those places, so I won't be there. So it's good. However it works is fine. And I'm just saying that now because those who play this, I want them to hear that. You're just as much a part of this community as those of us who are sitting here right now. Okay, stick in the middle. I keep hitting the wrong button. I'm hitting the video instead of the audio. So Val is putting up for grandmother Val, sorry, is putting up for the grandmothers. They really love the fact that we have young people involved here, and we have those of them who are a little bit older. And she's laughing, so I can. She feels that's bringing balance. And let's keep pushing that out there and letting people be aware of that. Let the balance spread. Too many things are out of balance. Thanks, grandmother. I totally agree. Totally agree. Camellia, you're on.
What you were saying earlier, Jim, about seeing the visions, I dream the dreams. I see it when I'm asleep. I do it when I'm like in that between the waking times. I see it there. And something that's happened that's an extension of that, and I'm just sharing in case anybody else is seeing this, the creatures are coming to me. To me. The deer are coming to me, and they give me words like that poem about the deer. Words come when they come. The birds come, words come. A snake came. It actually crawled on my foot during a meeting in my house. A little ringneck, just a little baby snake. Quite all right. I love snakes, so it's okay. So my new little friend went outside and has a new place where he can go and be comfortable and eat now. But foxes, coyotes, lots of raccoons. I have lots of raccoons. The creatures, they never were as close and coming forward. And when they come, it's like the thing with the deer. It's like they're communing. It's like they're so sad because they have no place to go. And I have an acre and a half in the city limits, okay? And I have that much wildlife and possums too. And I left the last half acre rough. And I leave the brush pile. So the little rabbits and the squirrels And the box turtles. I had a box turtle. I was so excited to see a box turtle. They have a place. So they know my circle, and I have an old place which was something probably sacred before the house got put in, because it's got oak trees like the Druid circles with the oak trees. That's part of my heritage too, and I talked to the Druid guys too. And I have copper and crystal behind every single tree. I have my circle of power around there, so they're protecting it. It's like it it never was happening until this last year. It's like drawing the animals because they know it's a safe place. They know I'm not going to shoot them, I'm not going to beat them, I'm not going to kick them, I'm going to feed them, and they can be there and it's okay. I've never had that happen before. It's happening more frequently now in conjunction with like what you're saying with the visions. I'm seeing it in real life too. Just wanted to share that because that's a huge thing. Like with the buffaloes that you were talking about last time, that's that kind of where people are more, protective of the animals now and more aware. But it's happening more. It needs to happen faster, but at least it's happening. It's moving. You can feel it. It's a change in the psyche of the way people look at that connection with not just the plants and the animals, but the whole picture. It's happening in little pieces and bites.
Yeah, thank you. That's a great piece. I've walked that way my whole life. My primary connection has been the animals, and it's getting stronger and stronger and stronger, because they're also stepping up. They see us trying, so they're going to try more. I have a close friend who we together, mostly with his work, I was just helping interpret, found that his totem was owl. And suddenly owls are all over the place for me. So here physically, but also as I'm working online. And it just makes me chuckle. It's like, okay, I guess we got that right. Today, and I haven't shared this with anyone yet because I was running around doing various things. I'm challenged with arthritis in my knees and feet right now. And I need for that to heal because my work is out in the woods. And I need to get out there again. So I was going and doctoring for that, and I'm coming home, and there was a small deer, probably born this year, or certainly the end of last year. Could have been a young yearling. And I had gone on this dirt road because my friend who's here can't take some of these hard dirt roads, and I had a little bit of time to kill. And there was this young deer walking along, and it looked like a little drunk, almost like when they're just first born, but this was not a firstborn deer. And she, I know it was a female, suddenly went on the knees and then kind of, like a dog does, tucked under the legs, and yeah, it was kind of like that, a half lying, half, and I thought, wow. So I pulled over. My dogs were with me. They didn't bark. They remained quiet. They just watched. And I got out, and I slowly, as I tried to go up to the deer, she was trying to get up at first, so I just stood there. And just what you were saying, Camille, what I sent out was gratitude.
Oh, yes.
Gratitude for all the animals are doing right now. And I just kept sending it out, and then love. And it took maybe 15 minutes, but I got up to her. And I just sat down next to her. And with my bad knees, that's not easy. So here's the two of us there, both challenged. And she let me touch her, had a hand on her. Just like with a dog who doesn't know you. You don't rap, you just slowly, if they allow you, put a hand on. So there's that connection. And that's what I did. Sat there that way for a bit. And then she kind of moved around, so we were closer together. Meanwhile, my dogs in the car watching this whole thing. I didn't want to let them out just for fear maybe, they would chase her. I probably worked with her about a half hour. And I could feel her energy coming back. And when I'm done, she stood back up. And I sat there a little longer. And then she slowly walked away, but with more strength, more power in her walk. And I felt really good about that because I know she got what she needed from that, and I did too. And there's more and more. I have so many people who have not worked with animals who are sharing those kinds of stories and asking me, "Oh, is there anything else I should do? Should I follow up with this? Should I do more of this work, or do I wait for them to come to me?" And I want to do a whole show on this, maybe more. I'm thinking to do some programs kind of on the side connected to this, but there's various people I know who are working with modalities folks might want to hear more about. So we'll just do little snapshot programs. Anybody wants to do one that makes sense to this moving ahead theme, and we'll see what evolves. But I'd like to do more with the animals because not only are they coming closer to everybody, and some people that scares, and I know that, and making them understand, but not making them, helping them to understand is nothing to fear. If you do it in a good way, and let them come to you. Respect, yes. The old thing: don't go up and pet the woolly cows, the buffalo. Don't try that. Respect them. They're animals. Most of them are wild. But certainly, if you sit, foxes are another good one. I've had foxes come up and sit right next to me. I have a picture from a few years ago that I was sitting there with my two dogs on a log, and this fox came up, sat right next to my dogs. And none of us reacted in any hard way. We just sat there. And the fox got up and left, and then my dogs were like, "Okay, that was fun. Can we eat now?" So, it was perfect. So yeah, let that happen. Thank you. Thanks. That's a good one. Ooh. And I'm not welcoming everyone in now, I said, but welcome to all you who have come back, who have shown up. Stick in the middle on any of these topics. And Jerry's burning some sage. I am here too. Thanks, Jerry. That's always good.
Well, I'll say hello. My apologies. I was on the other link. Um, Valerie, I think you posted another link on the Zoom. And so 5 of us were sitting waiting, and I'm like, is everybody okay? So my apologies. But we were talking actually with Kyle and JD. Welcome. They're here for the first time tonight. We were talking about the gene keys. And as I was walking Bodhi before the podcast earlier, a dragonfly, it followed me. And there's so many dragonflies in Florida. I mean, they're just everywhere. And lizards, Marcy, I've been thinking of you. Lizards are everywhere. And but the dragonfly followed me. And I didn't know many years ago, but my I think I've shared my wedding china as dragonflies and ladybugs, and I had chosen that, and not knowing that the ladybug was inscribed on the little platter, but that's the symbol for my grandmother. So it's always beautiful. And the other night, last week actually, right before the podcast, a ladybug flew in my window and a dragonfly was right outside. So it was beautiful. But we were talking about the gene keys. If you're not familiar with Richard Rudd's body of work, he's a Waldorf guy. Got to bring him my Steiner. And he downloaded using human design and the I Ching, and created these beautiful 64 gene keys. And with your natal chart, everybody can get a free profile, and it's related to your life's work. There's many different numbers that come, but your life's work is really what you go on, and then it links to the dream arc, and it gives you three creatures. So a bird, an insect, and an animal. So 55 is known as the Great Change, and it's victimization to freedom. And I thought that was great for the topic tonight, talking about leadership between the youth and the elders. So 55 is really talking about when talking about really just the way to bridge. Like dragonflies can live for years underwater, and then one day it just comes up, pumps, opens its wings, and flies. And what a lesson the dragonfly has to teach us. Never mind being such a prehistoric insect, but it is really beautiful. Like when I was thinking about it, it's like, the elders may know the water and the youth are growing their wings. So I saw that as something beautiful, as that bridge that we're always looking to connect with, and just understanding. So it's, what traditions do we have to carry forward, but what burdens can we leave behind? How can we evolve? And we talk about healing, right? When you heal, 7 generations before, 7 generations in front. And we're not supposed to keep everything with us. We don't have to carry that. That's what, Standing Bear started the medicine circles, and then Jenny and Mondo started breaking the cycles, and that's what it's all about. It's like breaking these generational curses and these cycles. And I think that that's what's really important when we talk about bridging youth and the elders together. It's always been a dream of mine, is to create places where we can have people that are aging, and also youth that need guidance, and bringing them together. So I'm volunteering this. Right around the corner from me is Angels Attic, they're called. And it's a nonprofit that's having a lot of things for our elderly population, because we know Florida, a lot of people are here in their later years. They come for the warm weather and to retire. It's just easier on the body, right? So there's a large population here. So I'm excited to hear from our youth and what they have to say. So thank you. And apologies for being tardy.
No apologies. Camille said she could hardly hear your volume. I hear you fine. Anyone else having problems with hearing any of us? Just do a hand up if you are. No. Okay. Maybe check your volume, Camille, just in case. Okay. Good. Yeah.
I can hear you good. I
Whoa.
was. I can hear you. I can hear you
Ah.
really, really well, but I was barely hearing Melissa.
Oh, okay. All right. So it must be a Melissa thing. Oh my.
I don't think so. I heard it good too. So
I could too.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Don't know what it is.
I don't know.
It might be a Zoom thing. Who knows?
Could be a Zoom thing. Could be an energetic thing. Who knows these days? But as long as we can hear
I
most
did
of
bring my dragon. I don't know. Maybe that's why.
that's possible. Yep. Yep. Who knows?
Mysteries of life.
Yeah. If that's the only mysteries we have, we'll be doing really well these days. Okay.
Indeed.
Good.
Nothing
So,
wrong with mysteries.
no.
Not about knowing everything.
No. No. God, wouldn't it be boring if you actually knew everything? What the hell would you do to keep yourself even occupied? Whew. I like learning something new each day.
Best translation is the great mysteries.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
start talking about mysteries being gone and not wanting mysteries. Be careful.
Yep. Yep. Well, happy to say I have no problem. I got tons of mysteries I don't understand. Yeah, so this is from our council again for everybody. Are these animals that are appearing? Oh, I see Estelle. I'll get you in a minute too, Estelle. Are they here for something specific? Special is the word they're using. I think they mean specific. To show us something, to lead in something, or are we just seeing them more and they've always been there? Thinking about white buffalo, there's a new white buffalo that's appeared up by Pine Ridge, actually in the Black Hills. That's all I know so far. When I know more, I'll say more. But they were talking about white buffalo, I mean. And some of the people don't even know what white buffalo means or what it indicates or what the stories and the prophecies tell us about white buffalo. Go ahead, Estelle.
Can you all hear me okay? Okay. So grateful to be here. Thank you so much. Um, I want to acknowledge Melissa. Melissa, ever since I've joined, I find that your shares are really in tune with my energy. Like I'll either think something and then you'll say it right away, or I'll say something and then you kind of go deeper into it. So I just want to say thank you for, bringing all that you do. It feels really good to hear you. And then in regards to this topic, it feels like we're kind of flowing with earth energies, dreams, animals, and I got some great feedback from Graywolf to to when I share to focus on a few topics instead of kind of going big. I'm feeling my energy to be a lot more calm this time around. Usually when I come on, I feel supercharged. So I'm grateful for the energy of the calmness right now. Um, Something interesting is kind of happening in my world. There's a beautiful man that's entered my life, and he has this ability to see parts of me that I have seen outside my human self, and also parts that I see in different places. So, one example is that when I do an inner earth meditation, I often see dragons. And we've talked about dragons in a couple podcasts back. And the other night, he sees my dragon. Like we were laying in bed and he's just like, your dragon face is like it's like coming out of your face. Like so it's like pretty intense. It's really interesting. So I walk with the dragons, which is really unique. And now I have someone that's able to see that. So that's really cool. I also just got this new dragon sculpture. So I'm really liking this little dude. Um, he's got all these like gold pieces in it, and it's this really beautiful piece. And as you were saying, Melissa, too, like the dragonfly energy is everywhere. We went to this really beautiful swimming spot in Sedona yesterday, and the dragonflies they were all over. And then these two dragonflies, when they're mating, they're connected and they landed on my arm, and that was just phenomenal. So I'm loving the dragonfly energy, and yes, being in the desert too is bringing up all the lizards. I'm gonna now
Okay.
tap into the dream piece really quick. Um, Only that I had a really unique dream last night. So I have this wing tattoo on my arm. I don't know, I'm just, but it's like a wing and it goes all the way around. Anyways, I had this dream last night and my mom was in it. My mom and I are not really on speaking terms, and she had the exact same tattoo on her shoulder. And that was just something that really kind of blew my mind. I haven't really, gone to make sense of it or try and dissect it. But that really stuck out to me. And then I'll wrap this up by saying what the youth were asking, why are we seeing the animals these days? Like, what does it all mean? Well, my perspective is, and something I often talk about is that I'm an advocate for not eating animals. Um, so when that question came through, to me, it was like, well, of course, like they're here to show us how related we are and how on the same, frequency that we are. And to say, like, I am me and you are me. Like, I am you and you are me. Right? So, like, don't eat me. Like, and that's my dream for this world is that people do not consume animals. But that's right away where I kind of came through was they're showing us that they're these amazing sentient beings. And if we can like bridge this relationship with them and get closer to them, well, wouldn't that give us an opportunity to relate to them more, and to say, hey, like you're my family, and to maybe offer this opportunity for us to question how we're living and how we're eating and things like that. So thank you for letting me share.
Thanks.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Phil, good to see
Good.
you.
Good. Good.
Hi, Jerry.
Yeah, the animals are coming in so many different ways. And the youth council is saying it's important we teach and share about the animals too, and it's not the same for everybody. And they're right. Again, new friend yesterday, and the white buffalo came up. I'm the keeper of a white buffalo hide here. It was given to me to protect, to use for good things, to use for healing, and it's here. And so this new friend came, and actually Estelle introduced him to the white buffalo. And as I talked just a bit about the white buffalo, he goes, "Oh yeah, right, albinos." And that's what a lot of people think when you're talking about. And no, it's like, oh good, here's a good opportunity to, do a teaching thing. No, these are not albinos. That's different. Albinos exist, I think, in every species. But that's a DNA thing. That's something abnormal. And they have pink eyes. And no, the white buffaloes that are appearing are the same genetically as other buffaloes, except they're white. And that's what we were told. They were the ones who were going to help usher in the new earth. And when they started showing up, the new earth was coming. And if we're on the knife's edge, like I believe we are right now, makes sense. More and more of them are showing up. But it's good. For those coming late, there is no late. No need for sorry. Come when you can, leave when you have to. That's why it's a community thing. We all speak. So sharing what we know about the animals is really a good thing. And I do look forward to doing more of that. To me, I love that. The animals are, I would not know, if I know anything at all, I wouldn't know a tenth of it without the animals. And my father opened that in me when I was a little kid. We'd go out early in the morning, just he and I. My brother wasn't interested at that time. And every animal we'd see, I'd get this whole teaching. So, really important. Thank you guys. And anyone else who has anything to say about it, go ahead. Marcy, welcomed into the circle.
Thank you. I'm kind of laid out because of back issue, but I was listening. If I sound slow, it's because I'm on muscle relaxers. So to the persons that were asking, what does all the animals appearing in dreams mean? And my mind went twofold. One is begin to study what you can about how that particular animal that came to you, how they behave and how their habitat is and all the things that you can find out about them and bring it into your own basic animal nature and see how that animal coming to you in a symbol is trying to show you you. And the other direction was, give me a second. On a collective level, a lot of people are dreaming dreams because it is opening up and bringing the symbols in on a collective level, like the buffalo coming as a herd, bringing the message of herding together as the collective human. And that's all I had to say. So thank you.
Thanks, Marcy. That's good. And I hope they're really good drugs, Marcy.
Well, I'm kind of, slowed down here, so they're
Yeah,
doing me good.
good. I know how that works.
Yeah. Whew.
Who we got? All right, I'm seeing, I think Jen is next.
Hello, yes. Thank you for having me. It's beautiful to be here. I love the topics that we're exploring, and there's a lot I want to touch on, but I'm going to keep it simple. So, as far as animals go,
We lost you, Jen.
She says she'll be right back. Her phone overheated.
Got it. So, okay, then let's shift up to Camellia and we'll give her phone a chance to rest.
That's really dangerous. You know, those things can blow up. So that's good that she's going offline to let that cool down. I used to be a phone troubleshooter for AT&T, and we had lawsuits about people getting hurt from phones that got too hot that blew up on them. So yeah, that she definitely needs to set that thing to the side. I just wanted to say the dragons that have come to me, and I don't know if you can see my little dragon. I wanted to share my little dragon with you dragon ladies. And I dreamed one night it woke up out of this crystal, as I understand this called scrying or scrying or some such thing as that. And a beautiful, beautiful thing. It was all beautiful bright colors with bright red nails like mine and like green and gold claws, and it was awesome and it was amazing. And I wanted to show you, since we're sharing things, let me put the ball where it won't roll and fall out the floor and get broken. Oh my gosh. I was exploring some different things with spirituality and symbolism like he was saying, and I got the most awesome spiritual henna tattoos. I'm going to see if I can show them to you. Can you see the spirit hand with the little birds flying out to the end? See, I told her, I said, I want something that shows the connection of nature with the flowers, the vines, and I want you to have little birds flying out my fingers so that when I pray for people, I'm sending spirit vibes out to them. And you would be amazed at how many conversations that little thing about having a little henna tattoo on your hand started that went in amazing places. It was awesome. Another thing about, and I am not an advocate for killing animals and taking their furs, but I had a really interesting experience with a Nordic Wiccan Viking guy who had his ceremonial furs with him. And Jim, I'd never seen a real caribou fur. I'd never seen a real white Arctic fox. He had a real caribou from like way up where they really live up north. Humongous thing. White Arctic fox, perfect. It was so white and clean, it made me feel dirty to look at it. It was such a beautiful thing. And there was a raccoon, and there was a coyote, and there was a wolf, and there was something else. And I said, oh, those are gorgeous. Can I touch them? Can I put my hands on them? Because I could just feel the energy from them. Because these were animals he'd had 10, 15 years and used for his personal ceremonies and stuff. He said, let me put the furs on you. And he put those furs on me, and whoa! It was, I never felt anything. And they took a picture, and I said, when I saw the picture, I said, oh my God, I got to have a copy of that picture. So I'm going to show you that picture. Forget the part on the bottom because I'm not doing this to advertise, but I wanted you to see this picture. Can you see it? I don't know how good you can see it here. Is that not like the most awesome? The furs, they just sing, they just fly right off that picture on that page. It was like, I'd never felt anything like that, especially from a dead animal. It was kind of weird, Jim, you know, but the animal spirit was definitely still there. And that guy, if I ever need help praying, I'm going to call his Wiccan butt up to my house, and we're going to get together with his Nordic gods and his Norse people, and we're going to pray and get some stuff done. Awesomely, you know? That's part of that community we built. Whether they're Wiccan or Nordic or Indian or Muslim or whatever the heck they are, if they're spiritual and they're in the right place and they're in alignment, it all counts toward the whole. Sorry, I'm preaching.
That's okay. Yeah. Preaching sometimes is not a bad approach. I don't use it very much, but there's a time for it. Yeah. And for me personally, I have a lot of drums. Of course, they have animal hides. I have some hides. I don't have any hide or portion of an animal here, except those that came from animals that were dead. The only possible exception would be the white buffalo, because I wasn't around when it was, but I was told that when it died, it was when it passed into this family to take care of it. So I think it's the same. And yeah, I mean, having those things on you, that white buffalo when it's on you, some people don't want to let it off. I swear there's times I felt like I had to find somebody in a sofa to sleep on because they wouldn't put it down. Here's I don't know if you'll see that. No, probably not. Oh well. Anyway, that was Standing Bear with the white buffalo on him. And boy, you could feel the energy of the two of them connecting. It's really powerful. It's a great healing energy you can bring into yourself. So yeah, thanks for sharing that. That's really great. Oh, Brother Jerry.
Okay. One day, a boy found himself walking along a path. It was as if he had suddenly awakened. He didn't know where this path was. He didn't know where he had come from or where this path led, but he kept walking. He knew he was supposed to follow this path. Eventually, it led him to a village. He didn't know where this was and didn't know who these people were, but he walked into the village. He was relieved when people smiled and greeted him in a friendly manner. One man looked at him for a long moment and then took him to the lodge of an old woman. She was sitting outside, cleaning some medicines and bundling others. He sat near her and he settled near her feet. She continued to work. When she was finished, she greeted him and she asked him many questions. Why are you here? I I don't know. Where are you from? I don't know. Who are you? I I don't know. The old woman looked at him for a while and then smiled. I will call you Pete. In my language, that means I don't know. The boy said that was fine. And so this young boy who didn't know who he was came to live in the lodge of a wise old woman. She gave him a place to stay and to sleep and good blankets. She fed him well, but she did little else. He wandered about the village, watching, exploring. After a time, the old woman called him and sat him down by the fire, and she could see that he had not yet found any answers. And so she took out a pouch and she offered it to him. There was a long strip attached so that he could hang it around his neck, so the pouch would be at his center. Take this and keep it with you at all times. Inside the pouch, there's a sacred stone. When you learn to pray to it properly, it will take you where you can find answers to all your questions. The boy was happy indeed. He thanked her and he ran from the lodge. He went out of the village and wandered about. He held the pouch tightly in his left hand, praying hard. After a time, he got tired and hot. So he sat down in the shade of a huge grandfather tree. He sat there praying and wanting to know who he was. Now, like all the standing people, this grandfather tree understood the boy's thoughts and words. And it was at a time when we could still understand them too. And so he spoke to the boy. Perhaps you would like to be like me. The boy thought of that. He thought that would be perfect indeed, to be like this beautiful grandfather tree, standing tall and proud and looking over the people and the land. Oh, yes, that would be great indeed. With those words, a change began to occur. The boy's toes turned to roots and began to grow into the earth. His skin changed to bark and his arms to limbs. He quickly was transformed into a small grandfather tree. He was delighted with this transformation. This is something indeed, he thought. I'll stand here tall and proud, and any may take shelter in my shade. Birds can visit and make their home in my arms. I can watch the people and see over the land. This is wonderful. I will stand here forever. Never will I be able to run and play like when I was a boy. Those thoughts were a sudden awakening to him. That's it. That's who I am. I'm a boy just starting out on my path. With the realization, the transformation began to reverse, and soon he was a boy again. He raced home to the lodge of the old woman. She saw right away that something had happened. Do you know now who you are? Yes, I am a boy. The old woman smiled and nodded. And where did this knowing come from? He clutched the pouch. It came from behind where the pouch lies. It came from inside me. Yes, you went within. It is there that you will find the answers to all your questions. And it is there that you are known. And this is the story of the boy with no name. And this is the story they kept insisting that I tell. We're talking about the animals. We're talking about connecting with the animals. We're talking about what does that mean? We're talking and asking all these questions of ourselves, of each other. One thing we're not doing is listening and going within. If I were to share anything with the youth, I would share that beautiful, wonderful aspect of our people's ways. To take that time to listen, to go within and follow the guidance of spirit instead of looking outside of ourselves for that guidance. All those things we need to know are inside. That's all we have to do is go within. Those animals that protect and watch over and guide us, those ancestors that walk with us every step, those guides that are always with us. That's where we'll find them. And in that space, if we listen, we'll hear all of them too. Walk the without trail, but follow the within path. You might get more answers quicker. It's a heck of a lot easier trail too, more peaceful too. You'll find that balance, you'll find that peace, you'll find that harmony. And then you'll be able to give it away and share it. Thank you.
Whoops. Thank you. Definitely one way to do it. Personally, I take a different road. I talk to the animals, and they talk back. However, as Jerry alluded to, that did not happen overnight. That happened over many, 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 many years, and some really good teachers who showed me ways to do that. And that doesn't mean I don't go inside with it too and see what's going on. But I love listening to the animals because I'm one of them and they're one of me. We're animals too. We're just one more species. We forgot that so long ago that it's messed up so many things we do. Valerie.
One of the topics that the youth had brought up, and I would like to share a little bit about as well, is strengthening between generations, specifically talking about how the youth and older folks are working together. And I've got a beautiful story to share that is actually happening from a real tragedy. You know, as I shared earlier, we had a tornado come through and pretty well devastated many families. So much so that one of families were not allowed to go back into their home because it was unstable and dangerous. So they wound up having to scramble, find someplace, to live. They have children and, of course, two little dogs in tow. And they arrived at a motel, but the motel um, did not allow dogs. So the community has wrapped their arms around the family as well as the two doggies, and we're passing the dogs and fostering them and taking care of them while the family is trying to figure out what to do. Um, and it's a complicated matter, but that's a perfect example. Now, why this has to do with the older folks is, well, who's at home and can take care of the dogs, not people who are out, working. It has to be somebody who's stable and at home. And so our retired community has stepped in and we're looking at fostering another dog And so it's a beautiful image of cooperation, working together between the generations. The two little children that are part of the family with the two dogs come and visit. So the little dogs know everything's okay. So it's a tragedy, but at the same time, it's a beautiful community sharing and how the generations are working together. It's an uplifting real life story unfolding right now. So I wanted to share that, and I wanted to see if anyone else has maybe some real life examples of the youth and the what we call elders working together. Thank you. Talking stick in the middle.
That's a beautiful story. And it is happening. It's happening in a lot of places. I've had some people feeding that back to me. Some of these folks who've been rescuing the beagles have not quit, but shifted and added some extra focus to all the animals, because there's a lot of animals being affected by the fires, and wild animals as well. So yeah, that's awesome. I was online connecting up some people that I knew up in California by some of the fires, and they've been doing the same thing. And the young people were writing as you were talking. They've been working more with the animals on the res, especially the dogs. It's not been a good history. We want to change that. Okay, so, yeah. The animals on the res are not always well treated, especially dogs. So they've been working on that. I know a little of it because they've asked me for some advice as they've been going. And they've been taking dogs in and working with the dogs and finding people who will keep them. There's been a lot of people, I don't know, a lot, too many people, one's too many, who the fires have affected or floods or anything else, just leaving their animals behind. And I fight anger on that, but in my world, there's no place for that. That's not acceptable no matter what. If you can't go to where you're going with the dogs, then seek somebody who can help them. Do something, because once you allow a dog to be, or any animal, to be part of your family, you've made a commitment, just like you have to another human. And I'll always function that way. And so there's other people, though, again, stepping in. And I think it is allowing different generations, different sorts of people to connect, Valerie. So that's, to me, that's a really powerful part of your story. Who are stepping in to find places for these animals, either temporary or permanently. And for the wild ones, there's some facilities that are bringing them in, like facilities that rescue animals or old age homes for horses, and they're taking in some of them too. So we're getting a chance to serve the animals back. More often than not, the animals have served us. Even as Estelle was saying, even to being a meal, or to each other. I mean, that is part of it, I guess. So yeah, thank you for that story. See if anyone else does. Ryan.
Okay, can you guys hear me?
Yep, you're good. And now we can't hear you.
Wait, how about now?
Perfect.
All right. So, back when I was living in Gooseneck, just south of Sharp's Corner, I always noticed that all the kids to say, "Hey, let me borrow your phone once I want to play a game." So I thought, well, what if I use my computer programming skills to make a Lakota language game? And so I started working on that, and I made it into like a little RPG game, like Legend of Zelda type stuff, right? Um, and I would go up to some of the elders. I was working with a fella in Kyle with because he knows the grammar better. Like I know the words, but he knew the grammar and how to put sentences together. Um, So I wanted to do that to kind of bridge the gap to get the kids exposed to culture while they're playing, and in a way that they enjoy playing on a cell phone. But I never end up finishing the game. So I guess maybe I should revisit that. I don't know. That's kind of the story I had with bridging that gap between generations.
Thank you, brother. Another good story. At the end, I just felt as you said it, might be time to revisit that. It's time to revisit a lot of things. That's all. That's just what I felt, so I spoke it. Okay, any other right now? Okay, so whoops, I don't know what I did. My screen just went crazy.
It looks like you did a screen sharing thing there.
Yeah, but I didn't hit it.
Oh,
I don't know.
well,
Whatever.
I wanted to say that it's a very good thing what the youth are doing with res dogs because we're all connected.
Yep.
Just like, the story I was sharing that, if we just abandon the dogs or whatever, that's the way we treat each other. And it's a beautiful thing to see when we all come together. We make a whole. Obviously the family was desperate but they didn't have to look very far. So that was neat. And I also see a lot of there's debris. Now we got a drawing going on here. Okay. Um,
I don't know if somebody. Yeah, apparently somebody's playing.
yeah. Okay.
Oh man,
There you go.
come on.
So there's a lot of debris left over from the tornado. So families are still trying to return photos that they've found as they're raking yards and things like that. We're also finding, of course, some animals that we are trying to find their homes to. Um, so it's just a great thing to see the community working together.
Yeah, it is. These guys are taking things in a little different direction, but it's all related. And if somebody's playing with drawings on the screen, it'd be nice if you closed it out.
It says she said an Amy's name pop up here and there, so I think maybe something happened to Amy today.
Hmm.
Is it Amy's name? Yeah.
With Amy's? Okay.
I messaged her. Oh,
There we go. Okay, I don't know what happened, but thank you. I could only hear part of that, but however it works, so thank you. Perfect. Okay, I'll come to you guys in a minute, but here's from the Utes. They had a couple things here. One was for grandfather Jerry. Jerry just put this one in the back burner for a minute, and that is Jerry still here? No, he's not here right now. Okay. If he comes back, we'll ask him. They were curious if he got his stories direct from teachers or in part from Dreamtime. Interesting one. The other one is in documenting and sharing our stories. And I've thought about this a little in the past, but not too much. And some of our young friends are writing their own stories, because it's a big thing we've talked about for years, that some of us who've been around a bit and learned a lot and forgotten a lot, we should be sharing things so they're kept for the future. The young people are saying that applies to the youth as well, because this is the critical time in human history. So maybe we should be helping them also create theirs. And that's kind of fun. I've been working with a few of the youth council folks who wanted to write, and I've taught creative writing, and I've got a couple books published. And so I've been kind of helping them. But it's great to remember, let's not just encourage the older ones to share what we know. Let's encourage them too. They're walking through this time as well, and they also will want to share down when we get through it. So thank you guys. I think that's a really good one. Estelle.
This this conversation has got me wondering, like, what I can do more of in regards to like showing up for the animals. Because I mean, yes, I choose not to eat animals on a daily basis, which, we know saves lots of grains and lots of water and lots of lives, which is obviously super impactful. Um, a big part of why I'm here and what I feel called to be in service to is the children, animals, and the earth, right? Like those that are most vulnerable. I work with a 1-year-old child part-time during the week, so that's incredible work because, this is the new soul. Like this is the new life coming into being. And I was hired for my spirit over a woman who had more extensive experience than I did. And so it's a great honor. Um, yeah, I'm new to Phoenix, and I've done things in the past where I've like, made monthly donations to shelters or to organizations of groups for animals. I've again been an animal advocate on the community. A dog that I had years ago she's now passed, her name is Lotus. Um, I rescued her from being homeless, so I got her off the street. And I'm kind of wondering, like, I go out in nature, I go out into the mountains, I connect with the beings out here. Like I'm we live in North Phoenix, and so we're really close to the mountains. And so as far as like the wildlife goes, like we have access to foxes and to, the wild boars that like come around, and not boars, I know they're called something else, I'm forgetting right now. And javelinas. And the birds and the lizards, and I connect and I say hi and I attune and I talk to the trees, and it's like, maybe I need to get out there and like go to a volunteer shelter, like maybe I need to do more like once a week and get out there and just be more with the animals. Like I'm so used to, it's so common for us to really talk about like dogs and cats. Like, oh, we would never want to hurt a dog or a cat. And it's like, we need to not hurt so many more animals. And so this is, um, it's such a big calling to my heart. But we're not seeing a lot of like wild animals in shelters, right? We seem to only be caring about, birds, dogs, cats, yet we still have like kill shelters. Like there's so many animals that are just they make it into these shelters, but then they don't survive. So I don't know. I guess all I'm sharing is that it's getting me pondering about, what I'm doing with my time and what I'm doing with, these blocks during the week, and maybe how I can show up more. I'm not in a place where I can shelter any animals. I'm not in a place where we can have animals here. So
That's good. Thank you. And yeah, we don't want to go too far off on topics, but the thing oh good, there's Sherry. The thing that's important is it makes you ponder. If these shows make us think, ponder, feel, touch things, wow, that's number one. Out of that, everything else grows. I see Jerry is back. So for grandfather Jerry, I don't know, it just always makes me laugh even when I get called grandfather, even though I am. The young people want to know. Wait a minute. Sorry. Oh yeah. With your stories, are your stories coming just from your teachers and elders, or do some come from your dreams, or do your dreams sometimes back up what the elders teach you? That's a good one.
Uh, the youth council, I love you. I love your questions. This is another one that you've made my heart soar. You've made my spirit shine bright by your questions. Talk about wisdom. Right there in that question is wisdom. So, all the stories you've heard me share so far are stories that I was given by my elders, by my teachers. And there's a process to that. And I followed that tradition. Yes, the dreams and the messages from spirit always back up the stories. The stories come from a time when our people lived these things every minute of every day. They were in sacred relationship with all that is. They never severed that cord. They never severed that connection. And the truth of the matter is that connection can never be severed. The problem is that now, when many things have happened to, I don't know, I won't even get into that. What I will say is, let me see. See, I don't do anything without asking for guidance from Creator and the spirits. So I'm asking them, what of my dreams will I share? I'll share one of my dreams. In this dream, I saw myself, and I was looking down, and I could feel and I could see them, I could hear them. There were many beings around me. There is no age in the spirit realm, but it felt like a great age, great wisdom, timeless, ageless, from those beings that were standing with me. And we were having a discussion on what we were seeing, what we were looking down at. At the same time as I saw myself looking down, I also saw myself on Earth, that I was going through on Earth simultaneously. Don't ask me how that happens. Don't ask me how it's possible. Don't ask me how I experienced it. Falls into the category, like my elder said. One of my elders said, falls into his favorite category. I don't know, and I don't need to know. If I do need to know, that information will be given to me. And as I was enacting and playing out whatever I was doing on the earth, at the same time, I was with those ones looking down, those old ones looking down, and discussing what was being done. And I said, and they agreed, speaking like that was a separate aspect. I said, well, what he really needs to do is this. And as I spoke it on earth, I did it. It was happening simultaneously. And it was up, and I'm just giving you the highlights of that dream. But I woke up feeling a great sense of peace, not confusion. And when I told it to my elder, he laughed. And he said, I'm laughing because good luck finding someone that's going to understand that. What I was given was, as he called it, a glimpse of the real world and of reality as it really is. And I just had this inner knowing about what that meant, and the truth of it all, and a sense of great peace inside of myself. We're never alone. We're never also away from home. spirit. And if any of you and the young people would know more about that, let me know. I've placed my contact information in the chat several times. I'm available, and I would always find time to share with more about any of these things. I don't claim to be anything, but I'll share some experiences. I'll share what was gifted to me and given to me, and I'll share the experiences that I went through. If it helps, it helps. It's great. I don't claim to be anything. I just share what was given, and you asked, so I shared one of my dreams. But yes, I don't speak of them much. Maybe personal, but for the youth, if you wish to, I'll share more. I want to thank you. And if you want, because I won't do it unless you ask this time, I'll put my information in there and we can have a talk. Thank you.
Thanks, Jerry. Really good job. And I'm still very happy they pinpointed you and not me. But that was a really good, yeah, and I'm right down with everything you said. I think, Jen, I think you were next.
Hi, yes, I'm back. My phone overheated earlier, forgetting I'm in the desert while I'm outside. And it was perfect because after hearing the stories and the dreams, what I feel guided to share is a dream that I had years ago, and it's been a guiding light for how I live my life. And the dream was I was in the forest and I had a shovel and I was just furiously digging my grave. And I was just going, and then a man walks in from the trees and asks me what I'm doing. And I was like, I'm digging my grave. And he says, that's how you want to dig your grave? You realize your grave is where you're going to lie for eternity after this life is done. That is not how you want to dig your grave. That is not what you want to lie in. Blindness, quickness. Here, this is how you dig your grave. With intention, with each shovel. What do you want to lie in for the rest of eternity? Focus on that. With each step you take in this life, you are digging your grave. Do you want to live and lie in love? Or do you want to live and lie in blindness, in hate, in anger, just trying to get it over? And so from when I woke up from that dream, and it was vivid, I can still see and feel it now. It's a reminder to me of when I feel life is overwhelming as a single mom with 2 teenagers and financially supporting my mom and all the things. What grave do I want to lie in when it's all said and done? So it just allowed me to be a little more present with life and choose the intention with which I walk every day. Thank you.
That was absolutely beautiful, Jen. Thank you. Yes. Wow. That also ties into the fact, and we've talked about this before. We need to do more with it, I know, and the grandmothers have asked for that too. So many people are waking up right now, and many of them are being hit with that question right in the face, Jen. They don't. Many of them don't realize that, but that's what they're being hit with. Will you continue to wake up? Will you look around and see what's really here, or do you want to continue to look through wool to see things that are not maybe completely true? And those are hard questions, especially when you have 2 teenagers. Whew. I have grandkids now, thank goodness. Oh, sorry. The ends of a visit, they go home. Oh, bless. Oh,
I'm blessed with amazing humans that have been powerful teachers for me the entire
great.
way.
Yeah, and they are. And I'm just kidding around, but yes, I know. Although there's those moments. Thank you for that. That was beautiful. I believe, Nicholas, I think you were next. You still here?
Yeah, thank you.
Oh,
Can you hear
there he
me
is. There.
okay?
Yep, there you go. Yep.
Okay. Thank you everyone for sharing and can really feel the companionship and just camaraderie and I appreciate that. Um, Aloha from Vancouver Island. So I was just breathing and kind of feeling into what I could share and just appreciating what Estelle was asking and like how else can we help the animals and kind of playing off what Jerry was saying and going within, in the shamanic tradition I'm practicing and aware of uh, the different dimensions that correlate to our chakras, and the first root being the mineral, like our bones, and the second being the plant, uh, our sacral, and the third being the 3D and the animal realm, where we as human beings are more centered in our hearts in the fourth dimension. And one way I know for sure that is very much needed and that can really help in ways beyond, directly physically kind of interacting with the animals is in that third chakra, solar plexus. That's really the center of our emotional body. So when we truly honor our emotions and we express them, especially utilizing our voice and out loud and in our interactions with our friends and family, we're giving voice to those emotions, which all the animals kind of represent, all these different emotional dynamics. And because we're already connected in a collective, when we're truly honoring that emotional field, it helps not just the animals, but all the dimensions that we're connected to, but especially that animal realm. And you can hear maybe in how if we're not expressing our emotions and we're stomaching things and we're overeating or we're, doing these, not using our voice, that it affects the whole field. The more we suffer within ourselves, the more the animals suffer outside because it's part of the sacred balance. And I just want to be a big voice for that in saying that if all of us are truly honoring our emotions and how we feel and expressing them in truth and in all relations, that can really have a profound effect. And I want to encourage everyone to be a rainbow warrior in that way of, honoring the emotion code and the ocean too. But thank you for letting me share and much love. Talking stick in the middle.
Thanks, Nicholas. Great. Yeah, everybody's excellent feedback tonight. The animals are coming up again. So one of the grandmothers, Francine, is a friend. Oh, okay. I know what she's talking about. Paraphrasing. Talking to the animals, and I talk to the animals all the time. I've shared that, and I hear them back. It doesn't mean I say, "Hey, how you doing there, Sister Squirrel today?" And Sister Squirrel says, "I'm doing all right, Graywolf. How are you doing?" No, 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 no. It's not what I feel their answers. They feel my answers. Sometimes I'll feel colors from them. If they're in a good way, it'll be a nice, comfortable pastel color. No fear, no negative energy. If they're challenged by something or if they're injured or ill, I get a very different signal. But I can't think of it well. There's been some times in one of my vision quests, in my dreams, I could hear them talk. But I knew that was in a dream in a vision quest. But that doesn't make it any less powerful. You just have to get more adept at hearing and feeling creatures that way. Works with humans too, by the way, but that's another. We won't go off there. Jace, I guess it is, right? Jace, is that?
Hey, good afternoon. Can you hear me okay?
Yep, fine, nice and clear.
Sue, hey, Jason, Red White, Nation, um, Walk Red Road. Interesting topic. And I heard somebody say something about the animals, and then I heard something about the dragon, which I haven't thought about in about 15 years. I asked permission, and so I'll share the story because that's how it was taught to me. The dream I had was while I was working steps 4, 5, and 6, doing some sobriety work. And after ceremony, I was really struggling with that. So working in the West, basically, and and it's kind of easy to get lost there if anybody knows what I'm talking about. Um, so in the night, I had a dream because I was really struggling and just kind of onboarding with my background, the mixed background, which is practices are very similar, believe it or not. Um, so I went to a sacred tree in my dream, and it was a very unique tree. I don't know, kind of like a Keebler, like the Keebler elf tree, right? So as I was walking up to it, there was a young girl, and I thought it was my sister who passed, and greeted there. And I got the impression I was about 8 years old. She was about that age too. She grabbed my hand and we walked to the tree. And she opened the tree and we went downstairs, and it was kind of the spiral staircase. And it just kept going, and it felt cold, it felt damp. And as we were walking, we got to this point where a dragon showed up. And you could smell like the air, like the moisture, like you were almost in like a castle, like an underground castle. And so she opened this door, um, this wooden door, and inside were these vials, and they were sitting on shelves. And she says, touch one. And so I touched one, and each one I touched had an experience of my life, in this life and all the other lives. Um, and so each one that I grabbed had an experience, and these weren't the really good experiences of my life from uh, anything that happened from, I would say, 8 years old on, and in past lives were all there. So I kept touching each one, and it was a vision that came through me, and it was just like a movie screen, and I was just reliving this, um, again, doing step work, right? So some of that stuff was coming out for the first time, that the drugs and the alcohol were trying to treat, which eventually became not the solution, but became the problem for me in my life. But anyway, so grabbed onto it. I started crying. She hugged me. I hugged her back. I was crying. The dragon came into the room and just lit that whole room up with fire, and just really cleared out all these different wounds from different timelines, from different experiences. And what I felt in that moment, that I was free from the power of the damage that had been done. And so to me, the animals are either about wisdom, they bring a medicine. When I'm struggling or when I need help, I ask for help, and things show up for me, and they're there to teach and guide me. So for me, the dragon represented release using fire. And so, there's other ways to do that. I took that knowledge, and so one of the things I would do is collect sticks and create bundles and tie them. Sometimes use tobacco bundles, take it to a fire, and kind of release the power of the past. And yeah, that was odd. And I don't think I've ever seen the dragon since. I do have other animals that I'm very aware of. And sometimes I struggle because sometimes these animals have a shadow side, like the wolf. I can be aggressive. I can be a lone wolf. I can be off on my own, and I'm good with that. But the other side of the wolf is, it brings something back to the pack, and it helps me with, dealing with people and community. And I would say pay attention to the colors. The colors to me represent the medicine wheel, in which direction I either need help in, or where I'm supposed to learn. So that's kind of my experience with the dragon. And my relationship, I'll close with this. My relationship with the animals started early recovery. I'd lost my mom, um, and horseback riding. And so I got connected with the horses. I heard they were great for PTSD. They did many good things, and that was the first time I felt reconnected culturally, and to myself. And so they were great medicine, which led me to horseback riding all over the country. I went to Cherokee Nation. I went to the Southwest, and I was actually supposed to meet Standing Bear to do some ceremony about 15, 17 years ago. Um, and rode over in that area. And so that was just freedom for me. That represents freedom. So have your own experiences. They are me, I am them. And at some point they may merge with you and give you or lend you that power. Um, and yeah, that's my experience with the horse. Thank you. Feather in
Wow.
the stick in the middle.
Thanks, Jace. That boy, yeah. Tons of excellent teachings and understandings there, and many things I've walked through, I resonated with you as you spoke. Yeah, and some of our totems, I've walked with the wolves for 46 years now, so I do everything with them. And you're right, it's always a balance. They're all about community, love, joy, playing, but you don't want to threaten their family because then they turn into big bad wolf. And that's not necessarily bad. There's a time for everything. Also with totems coming and going, the owl has been coming to me a lot lately. Working with my friend, Al, he knew Al was his as a totem. I've had it before, and I was just, in the last couple of days, going back to when I knew Al closely and trying to understand what he was bringing me now. My first time with Al, okay, I'll give you a short version of this one. My first time really close with Al was my first lodge, my first NEPI. And I knew virtually nothing. In the center that I ran for the university, Environmental Center, I had worked with the Native American students to have 2 lodges built so they could have some ceremony that would make them feel a little more at home, because they feel very displaced when they're on a campus. Many do anyway. And I made it through 2 doors, and I knew my body was burning up. It had to be 500 degrees on the inside, maybe more. And I was going to go up all the fear things came. I've been taught a little bit by my elder who was pouring, but the fear took over. And so I had to leave after 2 doors, and I did. And I went out in the center, and I decided to walk a little before I came back and sat the fire. And I knew it wasn't to go back in. That wasn't part of the... And I walked through the center, and I heard some owls, and I looked, and there were 3 baby owls in a nest right above part of this trail, a part of land that we kept closed to most of the public, so the animals could exist without interference. So I heard them, and I stood there watching them, and I saw probably the male owl bring in some food by his size, I'm guessing, and feed them, and it was just such a beautiful thing. And I got a little bit calmed down, and I stopped hyperventilating anyway, and then I carried the walk through, and I went over the stream that was there, and I got back to the fire, and I sat fire for the rest of it, and I'm going, what were these owls telling me? And I had just gone through losing some people close to me, including my father, and I thought, boy, okay, so I wasn't sure. I just sat there with it. And at the end of the lodge, the person pouring the lodge, actually it wasn't my primary teacher, it was Lyman Yellowhair, a teacher from Denver, came out and he said, okay, are you okay? How, and I said, no, I'm okay. I ran out there, and I pretty much ran on the trails, trying to just shake it off. And I saw these owls and the whole place went silent. I didn't know that owls to some of the native tribes meant a death was coming. And so then I learned that teaching right there, you have to speak. There's no right or wrong. Had I known that was the case, I probably wouldn't have spoken. But then it was turned around and the teaching was, no, something's going to die, but it's something we no longer need. And that's what resonated to me, and to this day, that's what I feel. But yeah, lately, my challenge has been, I'm pretty much the only one left in my family. I've got a couple cousins out there, but there's no real connection. And feeling my birth family, that is. I have a lot of friends, a few close friends. But I'm trying to understand, okay, the whole birth family thing, why is that? And people I was close to for many years. And it was making me not depressed, but very sad. But as this owl was walking with me, flying above me, especially last night, I was realizing, okay, like many times before, it's time for me to let go of something. There's more coming. There's so much coming at us right now. You got to make space. And whoever's gone is gone, but they're not gone for good. They're up there working with us. And so it really helped. The animals help that way all the time, too. You don't have to know even exactly what the question is. If they're just there, often the answer comes. That's my owl story. Melissa.
Oh, I love it. So many synchronicities. So tonight, so my younger daughter is my teenage daughters. I got two of them. Thanks for the reminder, Jim. 14 and 16. But Avery, I didn't have a middle name for her. And while I had a C-section for my daughters, they were breech. And I had already decorated her nursery full of owls, and I didn't know. And when I named her middle name Athena, that was before I was really down the rabbit hole of studying the goddess. I had just started about 15 years ago. So today we just moved to Florida a few weeks ago, and I was unpacking, and I pulled out her Labradorite owl, and I put it. She goes, "I don't want that in my room," and I was like, "Okay." And so I put it right on the Himalayan salt. I have a little bunch of them at the door, and I put that out there. So Labradorite is the stone of new beginnings. And yeah, it may mean death, but always that's that revolving door, death and birth. And so I wanted to share a little show and tell, because I love, this is such a pretty, beautiful piece. And the funny part is that I had adorned her room in owls. Pottery Barn at the time, 2012, had this beautiful owl pattern. I did everything in owls, pink and brown owls, and not knowing that was Athena's totem, was the owl. And then I'll share with you my dragon story real quick. Shh. Sorry, my kids are walking in. I had been I'd hiked my first mountain 3 years ago, and I didn't know. It ended up being full moon September 29th of 2023. And I was driving through the hills the day before, or the day after maybe, and it was the Sapphire and Ruby mountain range, and right outside of Ennis, Montana. And I looked and I saw this beautiful eye, and I saw a dragon. I knew it, and I had went to bed that night, and the dragon came to me, and he told me his name. I'm not going to share his name, but he told me that he was my anchor. So we get here, and I get back to my car, and I realize I found him in the Sapphire Mountains. I have a blue Beanie Baby in my car. It's been there for years, and the blue Beanie Baby's name is Sapphire, which is really cool. So I found my dragon in the Sapphire Mountains, and then I have this beautiful blue, same kind of like a sapphire blue. It's not sapphire, it's lapis lazuli dragon that I just pulled tonight to show. So who knew, You know, when my clients, I was teaching this spiritual boot camp class like 10 years ago, and I had one of my students, she's like, I have a big ankle, a big dragon all around my neck. It's always around my neck. I was like, what? You know, I wasn't into the whole dragon thing until, well, then I met my dragon in the mountains, which was really cool. So, and one thing else I wanted to share, because we're all talking about dreams, and I feel that I had this dream to share this tonight. I had a dream 2 nights ago. Last 2 nights I've had wild dream time. I haven't had dreams since I've been here that I recall. And the last 2 nights have been pretty profound. So 2 nights ago, it was a dream of turtles. Now, I had just been at my cousin's beach house, and underneath his deck was a turtle that passed, and just the shell. And I thought to myself, oh, we have to do something with that shell, you know. And I didn't at the point. We're already climbing up there, but I felt that. So that night I went home and I had a dream that it was me and my whole family. We were sitting on this big rock, but then all of a sudden, like, stuff came crumbling off the rock, and it was actually a turtle, and the turtle came alive, and it was like, whoa. But the turtle came up on 2 legs and was like pushing us off its back, like, get off my back, get off my back. And then there were other turtles like that, all walking around on 2 legs. So I think that is a big message for us and how we're treating Turtle Island and the mother, for sure. Like, get off my back. And there, we could go into it. You know, I do Jungian dream analysis in my clinical work, but we're not going to go there. But yeah, the turtle was a big one. So I just wanted to share that. And I know it's 10 o'clock. I don't know if I pulled the coyote from the medicine card. So
Yeah, let's have it.
yeah, okay, great.
Yeah.
So the coyote, and Kyle and JD, it's number 13. We were in the wrong Zoom room. We talked about synchronicities and numbers earlier, and they were like 13. So 13 is coyote. And I learned from Jerry, the Hopi name for coyote is Isa. Right, Jerry? Am I right? I'm trying to learn.
That's right. That's correct.
Yes, because in one of your closing prayers, you always call upon the coyote. I'm like, oh, I know that. And what is that? So when I was little, I remember, like, I had that little Fisher Price thing you pull, and it was like the coyote goes, oh, and I always had this affinity to coyotes. So coyote is trickster. These are, for those of you that are just joining, these are Jamie Sam's medicine cards. So coyote, you devil, you tricked me once more. Must I sit and ponder what you did it for? Can you guys hear me? Yeah, right? Okay. There are thousands of myths and stories about coyote, the great trickster. Native cultures call coyote the medicine dog. If you have pulled this card, you can be sure that some kind of medicine is on its way, and you may or may not be to your liking. Whatever the medicine is, good or bad, you can be sure it will make you laugh, maybe even painfully. You can be sure that coyote will teach you a lesson about yourself. Coyote has many magical powers, but they do not always work in his favor. His own trickery fools him. He is the master trickster who tricks himself. No one is more astonished than Coyote at the outcome of his own tricks. He falls into his own trap, and yet he somehow manages to survive. He may be banged and bruised by the experience, but he soon goes on his way to even greater error. Sorry, my whole family walked in and they're just, being my family, loud and rude. Sorry, forgetting to learn from his mistakes. He may have lost the battle, but he is never beaten. Coyote is scared. In the folly of his acts, we see our own foolishness. As Coyote moves from one disaster to the next, he refines the art of self-sabotage to sheer perfection. No one can blindly do themselves or others in with more grace and ease than his holy trickster. Coyote takes himself so serious at times that he cannot see the obvious. For example, the steamroller that is about to run over him. That is why, when it hits him, he cannot believe it. Was it really a steamroller? I better go look, he says, and he is run over once more. Contained with trickster medicine is the humor of the ages. The cosmic joke is not just on ourselves, but on everyone else. If they are following Coyote or have strong Coyote medicine, someone like this may be able to convince others that a skunk smells like roses, but the fact remains that it is still a skunk. Snooze time is over if you've pulled the Coyote medicine card. Watch out. Your glass house may crash to the ground at any moment. All your self mirrors may shatter. The divine trickster is dogging you, and you may trip. Coyote scratches under his arm. He does a crazy dance. He catches his tail on fire, playing with matches. He jumps in the fish pond to save himself and nearly drowns. Coyote seduces a concrete statue. Coyote thinks he has found a bone, but it is a rattlesnake. Everyone watches the comedic scene. Coyote is you, me, booby traps, jet airplanes with toilets that don't work, blind dates, and all the humorous and whimsical things we encounter along life's way. Get ready for more of the laughs. Lots more. Go immediately beneath the surfaces of your experiences. Ask yourself what you are really doing and why. Is Coyote your medicine? Are you playing jokes on yourself? Are you trying to fool an adversary? Is someone tricking you? Do you want to give the office geek the phone number of the beautiful new secretary, or do you want to pull a prank on your best friend? When was the last time you did something just because it was crazy and fun? On the other hand, you may not be conscious of your own pathway of foolishness. You may have been conned yourself, your family, your friends, or even the public at large into believing that you know what you're doing. But listen, Coyote, you are balled up in your own machinations. You have created a befuddling, bewildering, confounding trick. Pick up the juggler eyes from the ground and put them back in their sockets. See through the genius of your acts of self-sabotage. Find it amusing and laugh, trickster, laugh. If you can't laugh at yourself and your crazy antics, you have lost the game. Coyote always comes calling when things get too serious. The medicine is in laughter and joking, so that new viewpoints may be assumed. If you have Coyote medicine, you may use it to make stuffy old fogies lighten up, to add cheer to a party, or to break a death grip conversation with ease. Look at the positive side of sabotaging noisy questions about your personal life. Have fun telling some gossiper that you just returned from St. Tropez in your new Lear jet. That was a long one. Coyote, there's a lot of coyote there.
Oh, yeah. Reminds me, my favorite cartoon growing up was. Come on, somebody.
Meep, meep.
There you
Wise
go.
Coyote.
Yes.
I love that meme. It's like, this is what a spiritual awakening
Yes.
looks like. And he's running off the cliff, and like all
Yep.
the partners are coming before he falls down.
Yep.
I refer to that all the time.
Roadrunner and Wile E. Coyote, and I loved them both, each for their own spirit. So, yeah. Thanks, Jamie. We appreciate that. We needed it.
We did. Thank you, Jamie. Coyote.
It's a great thing about Coyote medicine.
Yeah. All right. Let's we're looking. Yeah. Let's finish this off with our own coyote, Dr. Jerry.
Ah. So, when I refer to Esau in the prayers, in my opening and closing prayers, Esau in the Hopi way is the guardian of the direction of the south. That's where that comes into the prayers. Not calling on Coyote, just acknowledging that guardian. All the animals. There is no hierarchy in nature. All the animals have a part. The earthworm is as important as the highest flying eagle. Each one of us is as important as the next. It takes all of us to make this world what it is. We each come in with gifts. The animals help us understand those gifts because they embody those things. They embody those teachings. They embody the essence of these truths. If we live and we listen, you choose and you should listen more than you talk. I want to thank the youth for teaching me and giving me a valuable lesson. So it's all about sacred relationship. And by not sharing my dreams with you, I've done you a disservice in not fostering a closer relationship with you, the youth council. So one of the most powerful dreams I've ever had. It began. I was standing, and this is only parts of it, but I was standing. There was a beautiful lake, and it was bordered by these beautiful trees, these evergreens. And I had told a group of people that I was with that we were going someplace, and we all had to leave. And I stopped and I said, I can't. They said, you can't. We got to go. We got to go. I said, I can't. Why? What do you mean you can't? I said, I have to wait for the eagle. What does that mean? I said, I don't know. I don't know. I have to wait for the eagle. So they left. I said I'd meet up with him again if I could. And then I just stood there thinking to myself, what does that mean? I have to wait for the eagle. Okay, what is that? I don't know what this means. But I knew I was supposed to stay. And as I sat there looking and thinking and trying to ponder what that means, my eyes were drawn upward. And just as my eyes touched the sky and saw the sky, it was like a doorway had opened up in the sky, and this brilliant square of light, beautiful, brilliant white light shone out of it. Out of that light and out of that gateway flew the biggest eagle I ever saw. It was beautiful. It was amazing. And it started circling and circling. I realized, oh my God, it's big, but it's getting bigger because it's circling right above me and it's getting closer. It's going to land right by me. And just as it got close and it started to make its landing approach, I always woke up. I had that dream, I don't know how many times over the course of probably 15, 20 years. When I left Hopi, one of the last times I left Hopi, my grandfather, my elder, said before I left, he said, let me know when that dream with the eagle completes itself. And I stopped and I dropped my bags and I just stood there. I never told him about that dream. 15 or 20 years later, that dream did complete itself. And as that eagle land, that eagle transformed into a man. Many things were said. I won't go into all that. I just wanted to correct a mistake and share more of myself with you, the Youth Council. I thank you. I thank you for being my teacher. I thank you for listening and learning, but also for being the teacher for all of us. Thank you.
Thanks, Jerry. And they were sharing, thanking you, but also thanking all of us. And one thing they're learning from all of us is courage. And they'll share more another time. Okay? Good. Not quite sure what that means, but maybe I do. We'll see. Maybe that'll be another show. Courage. We'll see if we can bring in the lion from Oz. All right. Who would like to take us out? Anyone want to take us out with a prayer? Go ahead, Jerry. I don't want to take us in and out, so please do.
This prayer will be in the form of song. And this is in honor of our youth council and the elders and the youth from Pine Ridge. This is in your language. Chunkashila wamaya uero heya heya. Chunkashila wamaya uero heya heya. Chunkashila wamaya uero heya heya. Ikche wichasha chasha no elo heya ya hue wayelo heya heyo mitaku eo bonikdacha heya ya huye wayelo heya heyo. Dunkashila wamaya uereyo. Dunkashila wamaya uero heya heyo. Dunkashila wamaya uero heya heyo. Ikche wichasha chasha no eno heya ya huye wayelo heya heyo mitaku eo banigdacha heya ya huye wayelo heya heyo. Chunkashila wamaya uero heya heyo. Chunkashila wamaya uero heya heyo. Chunkashila wamaya uero heya heyo. Ikche wichasha chasha no eno heya ya huye wayelo heya heyo mitaku eo bonigdacha heya ya huye wayelo heya heyo. Chunkashila wamaya uero heya heyo. Chunkashila wamaya uero heya heyo. Tunkashi lava maya uero heya heyo ikche wicha sha cha sha no elo heya ya huye wa yelo heya heyo mitaku eo bonigda cha heya ya huye wa yelo hey ya hey oh aho.
Aho, thank you. You put me right into the lodge of Bear Cloud, who can't pour anymore. Thank you for that. That'll go to bed with me. Everybody, another awesome program. Thank you. We're all hosts. You're all hosts. And that's a beautiful thing to do. I'll get this up probably in the next 24 hours. And we'll be here next week. Remember, anybody who has a idea for a program they want to throw out there for us all to discuss, feel free, just get a hold of us. You can find any of us on Facebook and we'll talk about it. I think we have a lot of programs backed up. That's a good thing. That's what we want. Much love to everybody. And here we go.